Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this live stream event. Before we begin, I'd like to cover two items. Our code of conduct, the Microsoft Reactor seeks to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and our presenters. We encourage engagement in the chat, but we ask that you're mindful, being professional and keeping it on topic. This session is streaming to you live. It will be available for on-demand access through the YouTube channel. If you have not interacted on YouTube or Twitch before, you do need to have an account set up to do so, so feel free to get that set up now. And then today's session, we are once again joined by the Microsoft Security Insights Show. They were with us last month for one of their episodes, and we're going to continue on with a monthly basis for their third week. Each month they'll be coming live on the Reactor StreamYard. So let's pull up our speakers here. Let's bring everybody up. Hello, Rob.
Good day.
Hello,
where's my colleagues?
Brodie.
There's Brodie.
Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Rod. Who else is here today? Oh, we
Let's
got
get
Frank.
Frank up here.
It's like a
And
PowerPoint
then our guest
slide with the
speakers.
animation.
We've got Jing.
Hey, can you
And
see
we've
me?
got Maria.
Yeah.
Hi.
I can.
Yeah.
Hi, Maria.
It got
Awesome.
real small there. So I will let you take over from here. Thanks for joining us and looking forward to another great show.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thanks, Rebecca. How is everyone doing today? Welcome to our next Reactor episode.
This is super awesome. This is episode number 2, right, for Microsoft Reactor. But what is this, Frank? Episode number what overall?
103.
103. So we had our anniversary and never really celebrated it, right? So I guess we'll have to do that sometime in the future on a show. But everyone
Triple
may
digit.
recognize that's used to the Microsoft Security Insights show that we're missing one of our colleagues. He happens to be on vacation. It's almost like, I don't know, our drummer is missing. If we were a band, right, I kind of see Edward's probably like the drummer. He sets the beat, kind of keeps the flow going. Brodie, I guess, is probably, I don't know, keyboardist.
Keyboardist.
You're the fills. Frank's the cool guy with the little stogie hanging out of his mouth with the bass. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Frank, it's the
I'm just a
bass.
roadie. I'm a roadie. That's it.
What would you give me, Brodie? What would you give me? Come on.
Oh, easily lead singer, Frank, with that flow. Come on. You know,
Yeah,
it's
pretty good.
that.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Kind of a Vince Neil type, I would say. Yeah, absolutely. Or David Lee Roth.
Oh, only if.
I don't know who those people are.
So what did you do this week, Brodie, other than have a Canadian day off on Monday?
Which was wonderful. Thank you. Happy Victoria Day to everybody. Yes, belated Victoria Day. Well, I enjoyed my long weekend taking care of my wife, who unfortunately caught COVID, but has since recovered and is good to go now. So that canceled our plans, which made sure that I had a lot of yard work to do. So I caught up on a ton of yard work.
She usually does the yard work. Is that what you're saying?
No, I usually do all
okay.
the yard work, but
Right.
we were going to leave town for the weekend. So I'm like, well, better get it done now. So got lots of sun. It was great. And from a work perspective, I've been working a lot in identity related solutions lately, specifically access packages and access reviews, Azure AD B2B. We're working on some administrative units. We're working on guest access to collaboration platforms like SharePoint, etc. And that is alongside the normal work I'm basically doing each and every week around Defender for endpoint, identity, everything under the Purview umbrella. Lots of fun stuff, Rod.
Purview. Wow. I'm already kind of sick of that term, but yeah, I guess it's pretty good. Purview.
I don't work in marketing, so no comment.
Yeah, well, we'll rebrand that eventually.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Every 2 years, right?
Just like everything.
Yeah.
Frank, what have you been up to, sir?
So, what I'm most excited about this week, we have a guest on to talk about, which will be coming up. I've been working on my SC200 course update after I was out of town for a few weeks. And also I'm learning about installing dishwashers. So that has been an ongoing painful situation. So, I actually went out of town for 2 weeks and my dishwasher blows up before I leave. So go to Home Depot and then they're going to install it while I'm out of town. They come in, they say, I paid $200 for the installation, right? So they come in, they say, oh no, this is a third-party contractor for Home Depot. Oh no, sorry, it's an extra $400. I'm like, why? Because it doesn't connect right. I'm like, can't you just buy a connector? Then they're like, no, because the pipes are old. I'm like, you keep changing the story, and then the contractor just left when nobody was looking. So so I've been learning about. Then I call Home Depot. They're like, yeah, we'll have somebody else come in. Never heard from them again. So I ended up doing it myself while learning how to put a dishwasher in a very tight space. And no, I only needed a $7 part, not the $400 job that they're talking about. And the only thing that really annoyed me about this whole situation is the fact that if so you get a bad contractor, right? But Home Depot, if they would go out to Yelp and look at the horrible reviews by this contractor over the past year, I'm not the only one that they tried to rip off, right? So it's been a good learning experience. The other thing that I did notice while reviewing my content is that we now have a new fifth Microsoft Defender product, which I was quite surprised to see that they expanded the charts out there from Defender for Identity, Office 365, Defender for Endpoint. I forgot that last one. I'm sure Edward would remind me what it is. But the fifth one is the new Defender for Microsoft Defender, not for, but just Microsoft Defender Vulnerability Management, which is kind of interesting what they're adding in, and then the additional licensing that you even need on top of E5 to make that happen. So other than that, I'm very excited about our both speakers tonight, both. But the first one especially, that she'll be giving us a demo.
Sorry, Jing. Frank doesn't.
Jing.
He doesn't want you here. So.
It's fine. So I gotta say, are we on E6 watch? A lot of things coming out that are value add on top of E5. Are we on E6 watch? Is this going to happen? E6. I don't know. I'm just a rumor. Don't hold me to this, but
687. So.
Right. Oh, geez.
Sorry.
I'm glad I can edit the podcast.
We're gonna do like Windows. We're just gonna skip to 10. E10 is coming up next.
We could do like Xbox and go back to 1.
That would be good.
Love it. Yeah, love it. E1. E360. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to hear from our first guest.
Yeah, let's do a little introduction. We have a little bit of change in our schedule tonight, but I think a very important one. I'm actually really happy, obviously, that we have Jing here. He's always a fan favorite. We have some really cool things to talk about. But to start out, we have Maria, and I'm going to let her introduce herself and kind of take over for a little bit. But we actually announced something yesterday that's been in the works for quite a while. And this is kind of a culmination of that work. And it's actually pretty significant, I think extremely valuable. And we have to kind of pay our dues when we bring this podcast to Microsoft Reactor. That due is we talk about Learn, and we talk about our Learn modules and things like this. But Maria actually has a very exciting Learn module, I think, that everybody's going to be interested in. And hopefully they'll be interested enough to investigate this and do this themselves. Maria?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rod. Can you hear me?
Yes. No.
All right.
Yes.
Awesome. That's a fun bunch. I thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for inviting me to the podcast. That's my rookie newbie kind of hello to everybody. My first time being here, first time in podcast, and first time with cybersecurity folks. So lots of first times for me. So forgive me if I forget about something or do something wrong. My name is Maria, and I'm a PM on Worldwide Learning. So as Brad was talking about, I'm working primarily with Microsoft Learn, and basically all of our team is the main mission is to skill folks and to teach them about all different Microsoft tools and systems and how to use them correctly. So what I am in charge of is a very exciting project. We call it Cloud Games. And Cloud Games is a portfolio of game experiences where players can validate their knowledge and practice what they know already from in hands-on way. We call them games, and they do play games as they validate their skills. Again, as Rod mentioned, we launched the initiative yesterday at Build. There are 2 cloud games that currently are available. One of them is in Microsoft Security, and the game is called Who Hacked. So I today will take a little bit of time to introduce you to the game, show you a little bit of the product, what we're doing, etc., and potentially answer some questions if there are any questions to answer on the game. In terms of the game and in terms of what we did, we did take a chunk of time to produce the game. But as we are releasing the game, we are learning from our learners, from the customers, and we are very diligently collecting the feedback. Please take it the way that we are always going to be working on feedback, and there are enhancements already that are being planned for the next couple of months in the game. So I will take it away, and I would like to share my screen and show you a teaser video. So hopefully
Please.
Everyone will get excited.
I'm already excited. Can't wait. Let's see this.
I may have to go off camera. I'm so excited.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to mute myself because I'm so excited.
All right. Okay.
Here at Best for You Organics, we ensure that all our suppliers meet the same exacting standards of the original Jackson family farm, where Abigail and I grew up, because caring is in our DNA.
Today, Best for You Organics is an ever-expanding retailer controlling every single step of the supply chain. And that's why we need team members like you on board. Ready to get your hands dirty? Then welcome to our team, Best for You Organics.
Hey, did you hear? We just got hacked.
This could destroy our company. So none of us are going anywhere.
Can you spot the hacker? Because it's time for Who Hacked, a Microsoft Learn cloud game.
All right, so there you have it. That's a teaser video. This is a multiplayer game that is very much Clue-like, where players would work together and investigate together.
Seattle represents Bruce, a world premiere musical that's.
I have the audio still playing. So this is the game where players work together and they gather evidence. And they finally understand who hacked the company, who, why, and how. This is the main questions that they answer in the game. I think I would show you a little bit around of the game and show you what you can do in the game, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Can we play right now with you?
Unfortunately, we cannot, but
I'm going to put you on the spot with that.
Yeah, but I would love for all of you to join our events that are happening the week of June 13th. We're holding 3 events in 3 different time zones with Who Hacked, with episode 1. So everybody, please join us for the events. The events are scheduled on our Microsoft Learn page. And I think there was a question about time zones that I will cover a little bit later, but I'll show you around the game a little bit and what to expect in the game. So let me see if I can share my screen one more time. All right.
You can explain those Post-its on your wall while you're doing that if you'd like.
I like the color selection. They're very bright. They stand out on that eggshell
you
white
know
wall.
You need a full can of paint for that entire wall, right? You can't just fill it up with Post-its.
Hey, she's distributing her costs over time, Rod. Okay,
yeah.
We all don't make the big bucks like you.
I know, and Now, what's happening in game development when we are very date driven and we have to deliver delightful experience to our customers, and we are just not, we cannot really deliver everything that is on the docket. That's my hard way of prioritizing stuff. What has to go, what's out of scope, and what's in the scope. So unfortunately, that's me working for sprints. Sorry about that.
I'll splurge for a whiteboard for you here shortly.
Thank you. That's what my husband said. He's like, yeah, I think you need a whiteboard. I was in 2 minds about the whiteboard. But anyway,
have you ever turned around and see your kid rearranging them for the fun of it?
No, they're like, no, he's short, so he can't really reach them.
You get a stool though. You get a stool. Cause a problem.
No, he's 16 months old, so he cannot yet.
Okay.
That's the main thing.
So is he able to climb out of the crib yet?
No, I think the answer is no.
So here's the deal: is when they start climbing out of the crib, you know how to solve that, right?
Put a lid on it.
You turn it upside down, and then you just let it hang out.
Upside down. Okay, what not to do in parenthood?
Let's carry on with the game demonstration.
A lot of great advice on how to be a great mother and how the kids will survive under my parenthood. I don't think my husband will support this, but anyway, yes, we're still surviving with a 16-month-old. Now that he started walking, it's very independent and walks everywhere. It's just it's another level. So in the game, I think I mentioned this is a multiplayer experience, and we are bringing actually multiple roles into the experience. So we're bringing not only security, but we're bringing identity and compliance into the game. And there are 3 people who are ideally playing the experience. So the experience is, imagine I'm playing together with Rod and Frank, and one of us is assuming potentially one role of a person, and we are working all for a fictitious company that's called Best for You Organics. And we learn in our the very first moment playing the game that, hey, the company is about to expand in Europe in 72 hours, and they got hacked in this time frame. And we are tasked with figuring out what happened, how did it happen, and why it happened. So when we're trying to figure this out, we land on the screen where we have certain available leads to investigate. And as you can see, there are certain tasks to do within the game, right? So we can search for leaked file, we can investigate Amari in Sentinel and Defender, we can investigate Amari in Azure AD, identity protection, and we can set up insider risk policy. So the question to 2 of my fellow players that are playing with me, what would you do first? Where would you go?
Well, first off, it seems like you're really picking on Amari. So I'm not sure what Amari did to deserve that. But obviously, I would want to start with Sentinel, one of our premier products, to investigate the situation.
So if we start, well, Amari is our character, and unfortunately, something happened with Amari, and you will need to play the game to learn what happened with Amari and why we're investigating Amari so closely. But let's start. Let's jump into Sentinel and Defender, and let's see what we are doing there. So when you begin the investigation with Amari, now we land you on a screen of Best for You Organics, and we hope that you remember what we're investigating and what program we're using. So if you, by any chance, think like, oh, maybe I should use the endpoint manager, a lovely lady called Andrea will tell you, I don't think so. You should try again. So let's go into Sentinel and see what we're doing in Sentinel, both Sentinel and Defender. It's quite important to remember that. You have on the right side hand the panel where you basically have your tools. You have your journal, you have your chat because it's a multiplayer experience, and you have some help. So in the journal, what you do is what you actually are supposed to be doing. You investigate Amari in Sentinel and Defender, and you have some indication of what you're supposed to do in this task, in this lead. So you're supposed to find some critical information, and there's a lot of information to find about Amari in this particular lead. But there's only 4 things that are critical. So let's try and see, what would you do? Question to everybody: what would you do? What would you where would you start?
I would personally start in the logs blade, and I would do a search for that specific criteria.
Okay, let's go ahead and do search.
Jing agrees. That's good.
I want Rod on my team if I play.
Yeah, no doubt. Me too.
So there's a lot of results. So let's continue and adjust the query to narrow the search. So what would we do? Which query will filter to a table that will tell about the potential compromise of Amari's PC? Select the right one below. Which one would you select?
Number 2.
Do we have an agreement? I see.
Yeah, number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2. Yeah.
Number 2. Okay. Let's see. All right.
Wow.
Let's continue. No, it didn't quite return the results. Anything else?
Rod, you gotta take a course. I think. I don't think you're good at this.
What language is this?
Yeah. That query response time was pretty quick. It's good.
Yes, thank you for noticing this. The query responds very quickly because of the simulation experience. So I will not bother you with details, but let's just go and I'll show you a little bit more of the incidents. If we go into incidents and let's investigate the very first one, which is a medium incident. Some unfamiliar sign-in happened. So on the right-hand side, you will notice something is not looking quite right, like the product. You see the purple-looking boxes. So the purple-looking boxes are this potential clues or evidence that you're collecting. We automatically collect evidence for you, and it's part of the gameplay. So you can see there are 2 entries. We collected that, but unfortunately, nothing quite moved on. It's not really critical for us. So let's see, if I go into this multi-stage incident, what's going to happen? So let's collect some more evidence. And here we go. So we moved the needle down to 1 out of 4 critical information. So this is what the gameplay is about. You are collecting information. You are collecting the clues. You will need to collect the important critical clues. Then, after completion of the activities, you will land in evidence map. An evidence map, if you've ever watched whodunit movie or any sort of detective story,
those are post-its.
Lots of post-its.
Oh, that's why you got post-its.
Yeah.
Now I get it. Now I get
They
it.
align. Look behind her. They align. Oh, we solved the riddle.
See, okay, you solved everything. I cannot keep secrets from you. So this is the evidence map where people will get together and after completing of the leads, they'll bring this information to the team, and we'll learn more about what happened with Tomo and who's Tomo and what information we've collected. So hopefully by the end of the game, you'll be able to understand who did it, how that happened, and why it also happened. As I said, it's a multiplayer game, so this is a collaborative experience. And I think the whole goodness and all the wonderful things that are happening, they're happening in discussions when people are completing the leads, completing the activities, and they share the details, what they've collected and what the investigation work has happened, and how they're piecing it all together, like what happened and what the motives were of the game.
So what's next for this, Maria? Obviously, this is not the end of it, and this is not the only game. So what's coming up next? I'm already seeing comments in the chat, right? People love this, and I absolutely love it myself. But what's next? You can't end here.
So no, please join us for events that are happening in June, and we have advertised the events on our Microsoft Learn page. Please go ahead and sign up for the experience. Sorry,
It's what is that? It's Cloud Games, aka.ms Cloud Games. Is that what it is?
Yes,
yep.
aka.ms/Cloud Games. And you'll be able to sign up for the experience, play with us, play together. We are we will be releasing also the single player version of the experience. We heard from the learners that this is something that's really desirable. and it's really wanted. So we will be, we're working currently on that version. But this is just episode 1 of the experience. There's also episode 2 that's ready and launched, and episode 3 is in the works. So treat it as a TV series, as a saga that keeps on bringing you goodness.
Can't wait for season 2.
Can't wait to
find out
try
what-
it. Yeah, can't wait to find out what Amari, what he's up to.
Yeah.
Who is Amari and
People
why?
look a little sketchy. Yeah.
This is Amari, by the way.
I wouldn't trust him.
mm,
Turtleneck with the
turtleneck.
blazer. Yeah, it's suspicious.
Anybody wearing a turtleneck is a spy. We know that from movies. That's a giveaway right there.
Maria, this looks amazing. Congrats to you and the whole team who've been involved in this. I can't wait to try it. Yeah, like Rod said, people in the chat are losing it right now. So we're all very excited. Thank you so much for showing this.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. And if I know there were some questions on LinkedIn about the page and about registration, the time zones. So just to preemptively answer the question, it was a little bit of an oopsie daisy on our side, and we list all the events in Pacific time zone, forgetting about the other time zones. So now we fixed the error, and everything should look good and connected to all the time zones. So please check our page, aka.ms/cloudgames, and learn more about us.
Yeah.
Play the games.
There's only one true time zone, and that's the one that I work in. So you just need to, as long as you do that, you'll be fine. But no, I appreciate this. This is super awesome. A lot of people love
Maria,
this play, right?
Yeah,
This is
Maria.
great.
So I got a question for you, Maria. So is this good for somebody that's just learning the tools, or is this good for somebody that already knows the tools?
I think it's both. So what we learned through practice is for people who are practicing, who are already working with tools, this is a great opportunity to practice. This is a great opportunity to just upgrade their skills and just to understand maybe what are the gotchas and where maybe I'm not seeing kind of the usability of the tool. For those people who are learning about the tool, so as you remember, there are 3 roles, right? Compliance, identity, and security. And sometimes we have people who are new to compliance or new to security or new to identity. And it's an ability to expand on the knowledge, ability to expand on the tool set and understand how the tools actually work together. So both.
Cool.
Excellent. And the feedback so far has been awesome, right? Everybody
The
loves
feedback
it?
so far has been awesome. I think I've heard the last thing that I heard from the trainers. We were testing a different game, but on Who Hacked, what they were saying is that they've learned a ton just because of playing again and again. It brings up like why certain things are important in the tool, and it helped them deliver classes better. So which is always wonderful to hear that we help something else with the experience.
Excellent.
Now, if we could,
we'll have to schedule a Reactor show that we're all playing. So that
we have to.
our community. So how many people play? I mean, you have 3 people, but is it multiple teams? So how many people from our community can get together and we have a Microsoft Security Insights podcast, Who Hacked Reactor show? How many people?
To be honest, the more the merrier.
Okay.
The more the merrier. We currently have a limit of 250 people per session, but we're testing the system, and we're trying to understand if 250 is really the limit, or we can go higher than that. But
okay, community. So that's the goal. 250. We got to hit 250, everybody.
We got to hit 250. Yeah.
All right.
So here's another trick question for you. So at the in-person Ignite in the fall, will you be holding a session there?
That's a
I would love
question.
to.
That's
I would love to. We're holding right now. We're testing face-to-face events. No kidding. I would love to see that. I think it's such a wonderful opportunity for face-to-face because the digital stuff is cool, but I mean the excitement that you see when people actually are talking to each other, and the excitement in chat when they're piecing together the story. It's wonderful. I think it has to happen face-to-face. So I would love.
I've actually played the game, episode 1 and episode 2, and I have to tell you, when you play it just individual versus playing with a team, the team thing and discussing it is completely a completely different situation and feeling to the game. So people that can definitely get in on the team and then discuss and working together and solving everything is definitely worth it.
And I will tell you, it actually looks good on here. It
No
does.
way.
Yeah,
Really?
it does.
That's amazing. I'm
Yep.
so
What
jealous.
is here for everybody that's listening to the audio?
Oh,
side?
for just listeners, this is the Oculus, the virtual environment.
Love it. So
But
you
it
go
has a
into the
browser.
matrix when you're in Sentinel.
Yep.
You're really in the matrix at that point, searching the code, looking for Amari.
That's my
Amari, where is Amari, and why am I searching for you?
Yeah.
So basically, at the end of the game, you put together all the pieces and you decide who did it out of the characters that you have on your
Yeah,
board
don't
there.
forget the Easter eggs. Don't forget something that you potentially will discover as well. I'm not going to give away too much.
Oh
but
my god, I gotta play this right now. Can I just drop so I can play it?
Yeah.
You guys got the show, right? We're good.
Yeah. And what would be super awesome if we could figure out how to get this to like an e-games or a hacker fest or something like that for people to play and win prizes and all kinds of stuff.
I think Ignite would be great.
In-person Ignite,
especially in-person Ignite.
In-person Ignite, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to have like a couple of breakout rooms and really run like data, because we have data and AI game, data feeds as well launched, and we hopefully might have a third game on the way. So it's a portfolio of game experiences.
Super awesome. Well, thank you so much, Maria. I truly appreciate it. Anybody else have any questions for Maria? No.
I just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
Gamification gets people like me who traditionally didn't pay attention at all in school very enthralled in a subject and excited. And I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. So thank you to the whole team for doing this.
So I'm really looking forward to everything else that comes. And by the way, Maria, we do this show every Wednesday night, just once a month on Reactor. You can come on anytime if you want to talk about anything that's new, anything when that episode 3 releases or whatever. Be happy to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much for supporting my first time. Yay!
Awesome. You did great. You did great.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Maria.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have fun with the sticky notes.
Very awesome.
Yeah. I see a little hand reaching up with a sticky note. You better watch that. Yeah.
Telling me that's Amari, Mama. Okay. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Talk soon.
Talk soon.
So we do have our original guest is still here. Thank you, Jing, for sticking around. I know you're actually kind of interested in that as well, aren't you?
Oh yeah. I always thought about that, but it's just it's something it's a lot of work. Game development's a lot of work. I tried to. I remember remember back in the days we were. You had a TI-83 and you would try to load up your games onto it. So there was like Drug Wars.
Dope Wars.
There was all these type of Tetris. And then you had to load up just enough to fit into that little memory card.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you're sneaky, you could hide the test answers for your math exam within the game so that when you busted it open, they couldn't actually check when they looked at your TI-83. And like, no, you've got no saved notes, you're good, but actually you hit it within Snake. So if you complete the first level.
That.
Yeah, well, it's just, just a little
and then
tidbit.
Everybody died from dysentery, or is that another game?
Oh, Oregon Trail. Oh my
Oregon Trail, yeah.
Just brought me back.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a box here. I'm going to get it.
No.
It's got a little dust on it, but I've got the Oregon Trail here.
So, Jing, it's been a while since you've been on, and this is your first Microsoft Reactor episode. There it is. He actually has it. Oh my goodness.
Wow. Is that a Mac? Yeah. That's the Mac version?
This is just the manual, but I had it on Windows. What was it? It must have been 95, I think, right? Yeah, I think that sounds
For those
right.
listening, Brodie never throws anything away. He just showed us what he's hoarding over here on the other side of the room.
It's true. I've also got a Game Genie. I wonder if that works for the game we were just looking at. Get some extra lives.
I see a Palm Pilot. But Jing, it's been a while since you've been on. Appreciate you coming on. You always come with interesting stuff. I remember the first time that you're on this podcast, Frank and Edward were both gone, and you introduced your rap song. I don't know if you've created a new one since then, but that's okay. Totally appreciate that. But you've been on here since then as well, and you're still a product manager there in the Sentinel space, right?
Right. Still, yeah. For now.
until something better comes along.
Yeah.
Cool, Jing. Yeah. Well, so do you have a new rap song to share with us before you get going today? I think let's give you the opportunity right now.
Oh, no. I do not have a rap song. I have written a few, but it just, it has to. I kind of just,
freestyle.
Yeah, freestyle on a notepad when I'm just zoning out.
That's
well,
cool.
you generally think in rhyme anyway, right? Most people do.
Sounds like another in-person Ignite event is Jim's freestyle workshop.
Yeah, Maria, like through game, I wanted to educate through song. But...
Yeah, we'll have an open mic at in-person Ignite. Open mic at in-person Ignite. That's hard to say.
Tongue twister. Yeah.
So, Jing, what's top of mind with you these days? I know you stay extremely busy with the customers that you work with. And I'm sure there's probably some things, tips and tricks and things like that, some things you've identified with customers. I think that would probably help a lot of customers if we talked about those things tonight. What's top of mind for Jing besides the rap?
Well, let me think. So there are many ways that I can go with this. How much do we have, by the way? It's about
still got about an hour or so. So
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm actually gonna freestyle and kind of go through a lot of various tips, various tricks, various things you can do. Everything I'm showing you probably you haven't done or you don't know it's possible, but there's a lot of cool capabilities within Sentinel. And so I'm going to share my screen and then we'll just go from there. So you'll stop seeing my ugly face and then we'll see where's my.
So here's the thing I'm disappointed with though, Jing, while you pull that up. Didn't you just come from vacation?
Yeah. So I went to Hawaii and and for some reason, when I went, everybody went. It was really packed. And then I talked to them. I was like, why is the line so long? And did you just decided to, when did you schedule this? She said, oh, I saw a good deal and I jumped on it. And that's my same thing as my wife. I jumped on a good deal and and everybody jumped on this deal and it was everything was booked and it was full and there was lines and I couldn't go to any restaurants I wanted to go to. Both kids were sick. Yeah, one had a flu, had a fever, and I kept giving her medicine to kind of put down the fever so we could just keep going, just keep trucking through, And then I got a little fever. I started getting tired. And then, when you take care of grandparents, they do help out, but it's kind of like taking, you have to kind of help take care a little bit and satisfy their, their needs and picking places a little more challenging. So it was just a lot of, vacation, it was as best as it could be.
Good.
Granted the situation.
So you were in paradise complaining the whole time. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, it sounds like you're struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't have any technology. Yeah, I was in nature and greens and no Wi-Fi. Like so it was struggling.
No PowerPoint decks in Hawaii? That's
how
did you survive?
Yeah.
But share away, Jing. Share away. We'd love to see it.
Okay, so do you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
wait a second. It looks like my screen. No, that's yours.
All right.
Superior mode.
So I'm not going to go too much into Bicep, but I'm just show you the capabilities of Bicep and say that when you build a Bicep file, like everyone hears Bicep is like, why is it different from ARM templates? Well, in a Bicep, basically, the simple way to put it, it's a template generator, and it's easy way to generate templates. You define your parameters, and this is rather complicated, and I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I just want to say that this particular Bicep file is going to spin up multiple VMs, and I'm defining my VM type. I'm going to spin up about 20 VMs. I'm going to spin up 20 VMs right now with Bicep, and we are going to actually near the bottom, you can actually use ARM templates to actually deploy and also onboard your devices into Sentinel and things like that. But what we're going to do is I'm just going to generate this bicep file. And I'm going to show you a tip. If you ever want to just generate a bicep file, you could just go into your, any environment, like any subscription, and you find something that you want to turn into a bicep and see how it and reverse engineer it. You could just go and pick anything inside your resources. So I'm just gonna pick inside my resources, and I'm just type virtual machines. And if you type in like anything, like even this workbook, right? And you can actually export it. Well, there's no export button, but let's take a virtual machine real quick. And let's just take a random VM and you click on export, okay? When you export that template, right, and you download it, that file could be decompiled into Bicep. So Bicep has a translator that can take that ARM template and kind of translate it into a Bicep so you can kind of understand how it was built. And then you go to his website called, and if someone could put the link, aka.ms/bicep demo. It's like a playground, like a GUI-based playground. And there's two ways, you could do it. You can kind of throw it through a PowerShell script and do it that way, but you can also just go to this playground and find that file and upload that template, and it will decipher that bicep file for you. And then, well, I just refreshed it, but you would have something like this. And really, it's just you just identify your parameters and define it, and then it's a lot more easier to read than a JSON payload. So you just kind of find your resources and you see how it's built. In this particular example, if I kind of zoom in, we have virtual machines that was first being built. We have the diagnostic account, the storage account that's linking to. We have a network. We have a virtual network also associated to it, and the network interfaces. So once you learn Bicep, it's a lot better because you can define dynamic parameters. You can do loops. You can build modules and then repurpose those Bicep files. So what I'm going to do is in my code, I'm going to generate this Bicep, and I'm going to build multiple VMs, and then I'm going to try to onboard them to Sentinel. I'm going to try, but we'll see what happens. And 20 VMs within 10 minutes through Linux. And the main parameter that I need you to remember is for a Linux box or a Windows box, you're going to need some kind of certificate, right? And what we have here is this key here, this public key. And remember, guys, there's a public key and a private key. A public key is literally like a lock of the door. Everybody has access to it, and if you spend enough time and you brute force it, you can potentially break that, public key, but it's very, very hard. The private key is the one you want to keep safe to you and you want to keep to yourself, and that's the one you don't want to share. But the public key is, it's accessible, and it allows the VM to validate you. Okay, so that's the main thing you need. And I'm going to take this JSON that was generated. So it's basically an ARM template. We're going to go into Sentinel. I'm sorry, not Sentinel, but a custom template. Right, I'm going to deploy a custom template. Okay, and I'm going to go build. I'm going to paste it here because Bicep generated for me. And as you can see here, I'm going to just then define an environment. I'm going to build an environment right now called RG Reactor. Okay, I'm going to point it to West US 2, workspace name. I'm going to put something fake because I don't want it to onboard. And then environment, I'm going to call this Reactor. We're going to put location as West US 2. My prefix, I'll put Reactor as well. I'll put this dev. Everything else is fine. How many VMs should I spin up, guys? Now, don't put too much. I don't want to pay that much.
250.
Yeah, thanks. How many VMs?
42.
Okay, 42. All right. Let's see what happens. Now, before I deploy this, I'm going to open up another portal right here, and I'm going to show you Cloud Shell. Hey, have any of you guys use Cloud Shell?
No.
Absolutely.
So Cloud Shell is awesome, and I'll tell you why. Yeah. So you click on this button here, and you literally get a Linux VM that you have access to. It's also will save your session. So if you go to different browsers, you would retain your connection. So all your scripts are still available. So I store all my scripts on the cloud drive here, and that way I can just, every time I want to run my Ansible scripts, I have it available to me. Okay.
So it persists with your identity, like regardless of sessions, logging in, out, it's going to persist no matter what. Okay, awesome.
And I like to do it in bash mode, because if you do it, I'll show you another trick. If you go to PowerShell mode, there's a thing called PowerShell profiles, and I've got a ton of functions and things tricks, things I want to use whenever I need to. So, I'm pretty lazy. So I have this themer, and it doesn't really work well. It's like it has this blue background that I can't figure out how to get rid of. I've tried many different things, but it just seems to lock it in. So I just go to bash mode, and then I'll do pwsh, and then I can theme.
Smart man.
And now this is a Soren theme, and as you can see, this browser. So you just pick whatever theme, and it just randomizes. So it's just a randomizer theme. So if I want to edit, I type edit, I get my little VS Code editor. If I want to edit my profile, I type edit profile, bam. I can edit my functions and throw in more code. So the particular function I used was set random posh prompt. So if I just call this, right? And if I just call this and just type set random posh prompt, I'm just getting random posh prompts. Yeah. See that? Half-life. So I can just customize it's just random stuff. But the reason I'm telling you to do the Cloud Shell, it's already authenticated. It's already got a token, okay? It already has session. It can also hold web servers. So every now and then I need to output the data. So if I just do something like node index.js, you can output this to a port. And you're like, well, what port does it go to? Well, if you just go here and, oh, what's wrong? If you go here, let's find out where it is. I think it's right here, configure. You see that port, you have to match the port. So if it's spitting it out on port 3000 and you put it here, you can open and browse that port right there, right? So anything, Node.js, Python, anything that you are presenting into a browser, you can output here, and it's always going to be maintained, and you have the persistency. And that cloud drive, here's the cool thing: that cloud drive, you can mount it into your own computer, and then changes you make on your local computer pushes to the cloud drive. So it's like your little Google Drive or your OneDrive, right? It's syncing those files, configurations across your managed devices and authentication. And here's another thing: if you guys don't know about this, you guys need to go to the store, the Microsoft Store, and get Microsoft Terminal. If you guys are doing PuTTY, I was a PuTTY guy, but Terminal is what you want to get. And once go to the store, get Terminal, you're gonna go and have something like this. But in my terminal, I have a special thing that lets me connect to my Cloud Shell, right? And I push 0 to define my tenant, and then bam, this is a Linux box proxy through terminal, and it's being rendered within my terminal. So I can do everything here. I get access to my Ansible code. I can, and we'll go into Ansible a little bit, but yeah, I got access to all this. Any questions so far? Am I going too fast? Is this making sense?
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely making sense. Everybody in the chat thinks you're a wizard, and I'm definitely learning. So awesome job, Jing. Keep going.
Yeah. Now, if you press Windows tilde, I'll show you another cool thing. I'll have to share my other screen. Now, here's the secret. Like some developer did a thing called Quake mode, and I'm gonna show you real quick. Let me see if I can figure. Where is the sharing? Because it won't share. Let me actually pop this. Stop sharing. I need to share my first screen. And the reason I need to share my first screen is because it won't render here. But Quake mode, if you ever play like Doom or Quake and you do like the tilde, you get this little like slider. Look, boom. So
I don't see your screen,
anytime-
Jing. I don't see your screen.
We're not seeing your
Oh,
screen.
No,
Yeah,
you don't
let's
see it?
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I
sure.
loved using tilde because then
I
you could
love
turn
your
on no
excitement
clip.
though. That was classic.
Where was it? You got
There
it?
you go.
All right. You see the Windows tilde? Some developer built Quake mode into this, and it automatically logs into your default session. So yeah, like someone built this tilde Quake mode session. Yeah.
Okay, type
So-
no clip. Type no clip.
No clip.
You don't remember no clip from Quake? You could fly around. You have no clip, right?
Yeah,
you fly
you know
around
that,
your phone,
yeah.
go
Oh,
total
yeah,
walls.
yeah. But yeah, let me go back to my other screen. But yeah, Windows tilde. If you have Windows Terminal, just like I don't know, they just say, hey, I want to have an easy way to access my console. But anyways,
Wow.
back to the public keys. If you guys are not doing public keys, it's super easy. We're gonna generate a brand new key right now.
We're not.
So
we're
I'm
not
gonna
on the
do-
screen.
Yeah, I gotta share
Oh.
one more time, Jim. I know it's hard work here on Reactor.
How do I
Thank
stop
you.
this? Okay. Thank you for taking care of that for me.
I know you just
So-
got back from vacation, but
Yeah, very hectic vacation.
So I'm going to go to my .ssh folder. You guys know Linux. We're going to generate a key, and we're going to generate that key, overwrite yes, right? And the main one is the pub key right here, the pub key right here. This is you share, this you don't share. That's private, okay? So just remember, you share only one. You're putting a padlock, right? That's the easiest way to say it. It's like publicly accessible. So I'm gonna cat that RSA pub key. I'm gonna grab this public key so I can automatically let Ansible provision all my boxes for me. But I need a public key for Ansible, right? So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna stick it into my custom deployment and put it in that public key spot for me to log in with my lab admin, with everything. So it all looks good. I think we're good. We're gonna spin it up. Oh, great. I hate that. I hate it when it's red.
that's the worst. Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Well, now
Okay.
Now here you go.
So here's the pretty part, 42 VMs. Let's see how fast it spins up. Now, this is not serial. It doesn't go womp, bom, bom, bom. It's going to go
All at once.
in a couple minutes, bam.
There you go.
Look at that. Look at that. So now 42 VMs that we spin up. Now, imagine how much time it would take to onboard 42 VMs without any kind of like management platform or like a script or something like that. So Ansible is, it's like Jenkins, it's like Chef, it's like Puppet. They're all the same thing. But Ansible, I like, and I've actually messed with it all, and I like Ansible. I'm not, so you can say I have plenty of favorites, but I really like Ansible because Ansible does it through SSH. Ansible manages all my IoT devices. Ansible manages my power switches. Ansible manages all my crap in my routers, my switches, right? It just manages all. And right now, we spun up 42 VMs and we're gonna manage it now through Ansible. How are we gonna do that? Well, Ansible already inside the cloud, inside the this Azure Cloud Shell already is provisioned as well. So here we go. RG Reactor. Let me go into my Cloud Shell. Since it already has all my nice little scriptlets, we're gonna go into I'm in the home folder. I'm gonna go to my Ansible folder. I'm gonna go to my inventory folder. I'm gonna go into my YAML file. And I'm not gonna go but Ansible is YAML, and this is like an inventory file for a dynamic inventory. And what we're doing is we're just defining the resource group I want to pull the VMs from to build that inventory list. And the plugin Azure_RM is a plugin that was built by someone in the community that will basically look at the Azure resource group, grab the VMs, grab the host, grab the IPs, and put it and compile it and then format it into a format that Ansible can digest. Okay, so now we have this. We're going to get here. We're going to get out. We define the resource group. Let's see if it works. So let me think. So we have it spun up, and let's see if I can get the inventory. Ansible inventory, and then we define the file is my resource group VMs. And then we want to graph that inventory. Let's see if it works. Please. Now, 42 VMs, like 20 VMs took a pretty long time. 42 VMs, oh, there it goes. As you can see, all these VMs has been compiled for me in a list with IP address, ready to be. And if you know, now that we take this list, right? And you're like, well, can you get another format? Yeah, you can get another format. You get it in I think it's a list format. What was the format for the JSON? There's another format you can get it, but you can take the data and like grab IPs from it and everything you spin up. Ansible does it all. So you see this? This is all JSON data, right? See this? Everything that Ansible gathered is right here. IP address, internal IP, public IP, OS information, disk, version, offer, everything is here. And you're wondering, okay, well, what can you do with that? Well, you could put it into a file. You can be like, I can put this into inventory variable, and then, oh, I can't. I'll do this. Let's see if I can do this. Well, I need I need PowerShell. But anyways, just know that the Ansible inventory could be outputted, and then you can kind of take that JSON and do something with it. So we have the inventory file, and now what we're going to do is we've got to use that inventory file and log it to the machines. Because we generated SSH credentials, and we did it through the IDRSA, which is the default, it's going to be pretty simple. We're going to do Ansible. Let me try to think. Let's do like an echo. Let me see real quick. Let's do, we've got the inventory. Let's see if we can, if it will echo us. Let's see. Ansible all. All means all the VMs in this inventory list. -m. We're gonna do an argument and pass it and say, that's the module. We're going to call the shell module because we want to run a shell command on all these VMs. So now we have that. We're going to then do a -a for the actual command. And I'm going to do echo hello reactor. Okay? Hello reactor. And I'll put this in a little thing. I don't know if it's going to be sensitive or not. Hello reactor. All right? And what else do we need? We need to define that inventory file, right? Okay, that I just had. We also, you know how you log into a VM through SSH, you get that little pop-up that says, "Hey, I don't know if I trust this machine. Do you trust this? Is this an authorized machine?" We need to skip that. So we're gonna have to add a flag called, to skip that, ignore, and I actually have it right security here. Yep. So we need to ignore that strict host checking. Okay. We also, let's see what happens. I know it's not going to work. I already know. But I want you guys to tell me why you think it's not working. And I know, don't know if you're going to get in it, but let's see.
It's probably Amari's fault. Oh boy.
Oh man, all unreachable. Why am I unreachable? I have a key. All right.
Did you open that port?
Net port, no. No. Whenever you make a VM, what are the main things you need to log in? The username and password, right? I have the password, which is the key, but I need to define the user. So I do -u, and I think I did lab admin. So make sure you specify the user. Otherwise, it won't work. Now you'd specify the user. Oh, let's see if it works. Now you say, wow, I could do a lot of things with just a command in Ansible. Like, wow, hello Reactor from all my VMs. So you could do curls. Like, let's do curl. What's that? What's that like? What's that curl command to get your own IP? Like, what's my IP? Even though it already provides it.
So basically, you're setting up your own command and control center through Ansible.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is this our botnet or what?
No. Oh, I mean, that's
if you want it
that's
to be,
I mean,
right?
if you want it to be.
Can we set it to email all of those VMs to email Rod every hour?
Yeah.
Let me give you my email address.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
So now, please, guys, one of you would know this. How would I run a command to onboard all my VMs? What's that special command? Where would I get it? Where would I get that special string? Which one of these? Is it this one, this one, this one, or this one?
Primary key.
Primary key, yep. You need a secondary key and you need a workspace ID. If you copy this one right here on the top, it's like that little wget. It's already pre-filled for you with all the keys in there in that string. Okay, so we're gonna go here and paste it here. All right, bam. We should see a ton of Reactor VMs on board into Sentinel within 5 minutes. 42 VMs.
42, the answer to everything.
42. Like, why'd you pick 42?
It's from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Yeah.
Oh, I need to. Okay, my bad. I need to.
Oh, you got to read it. Gene, you haven't read it? Oh my goodness.
Oh, I did, but I don't remember the 42 part.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Well, they're trying to find the answer. The answer to everything. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. Carry on. This is hilarious.
All right.
I can't wait to fire up a botnet to attack.
Oh man, you could do 100 VMs and then yeah. But I mean, that's Ansible for you. So, and you know what? This was through the command line. Ansible's got a GUI, so it's called Ansible Tower. So if you like GUI, they have a GUI that can do results for you. So you set up your GUI, set up all your scripts. But you see all this. This is exactly what you kind of would see in that session, but it's generating the keys, it's downloading all that stuff. And then now let's go into my Sentinel environment, go to my area, go to my thing. So remember, we are logging heartbeats. Heartbeats lets us know it's still talking to us. That's a way you can kind of see if things are still talking. So let's do summarize count by computer. And then we're gonna sort by descending. Sort by count, descending. All right. No, I need Reactor. Where's Reactor? That was my little, see my test one. Where's my Reactor? Maybe we need to add timestamp.
Jing, how many credits do you have on Azure for all these VMs month over month?
Not very
many. If you knock it out real quick, it's not too much.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna delete that resource group.
I hate to tell you, but I have more credits than you
do. Man, I'm jealous.
Show off fest.
Yeah, I'm jealous. Yeah.
You both easily have more than I do.
Well, I noticed you only had like $142 left, and I was worried that we would have to like shut down your VMs here real quick.
He's right at the end of the billing period, hopefully. Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, they're coming in. They're coming in. They're coming in. I feel like they're coming in.
You know, it takes a little bit, right?
It's still downloading. I have 42 machines downloading from Microsoft's CDN, hosting this OMS script and the packages. Yeah. So you know.
Nothing is real time, Jing.
Cloud time. Cloud time.
Yeah, cloud time.
I tell it to
Come
my
on,
customers,
baby.
they hate it, but they appreciate the term.
Come on. Okay, let's do distinct. Let's do heartbeat distinct computer. I don't see it yet.
That's
okay. Oh, pooey.
It'll come. I was co-delivering a session about a month ago with someone in person, and we had tested our demos the month before, and I still had that data. When we got to the session, his demos didn't work, so I still had the data. So I'm like, well, this proves that it did work at one point. Here's the data that we need.
Love it.
All right.
Demo gremlins every time. Time.
So that was a cool thing, number one. Now, any questions? Any questions?
Well, okay, so you, from the console, deployed multiple VMs and onboarded them into Sentinel, which seemingly just took you no effort at all, with a very cool inline theme with your browser shell. That's ultra cool. Well, and can we onboard to more security solutions like Defender for Endpoint and stuff?
I don't have a subscription in AWS or Google Cloud. What I really wanted to do was like have all my VMs in like different clouds and have my like little Excel file of my list, and then spin it up in all the clouds.
That'd be cool. That would be really cool.
I think the important thing is that Bicep is that next thing that literally everybody needs to learn and figure out.
Must learn Bicep.
Yeah,
sounds like a series.
I've threatened to start a series for Must Learn Bicep.
Oh, they're coming in. They're coming in, I think. All right. So, next thing, number 2. If you like that, you'll probably like this even more. So inside the workbooks, the coolest workbook, like, do not build your own workbook from scratch. Just repurpose other workbooks and just steal from it. I'm telling you to do that. Reverse engineer these workbooks and take pieces away and rebuild it. So a really cool one is called the Investigation Insights. So whoever built it, great job. It's an awesome workbook. I use it all the time, show my customers. So the reason I do that is because inside here, if I have my alerts, looks like a right, but remember, workbooks, guys, is not a report. It's bidirectional. You can interact with it. You can do things. You can click on it, and you think if you want that single pane of glass, this might be your single pane of glass, and I'm gonna show you why. It's because
it's almost like a dashboard.
Yeah. And
inside joke. Yeah.
It was called dashboards.
So. Yeah. And we're gonna pick an incident, okay? So if I pick an incident, this little sidebar, like this little side spot, does not render until I've clicked on something. So you can define these global parameters, and then other little snippets or elements within the workbook don't get rendered unless it sees something it's looking for, and it's looking for an incident, it's looking for something to click on. So now you have something here. Let's scroll down. Here are all the alerts. So let me actually go to one that has like my brute force attack. My brute force attack, okay, on this box. If I click on the alert, which just alerts are all, comes an incident, I'll click on the entity, all right? Now that I clicked on the entities within the alerts, within the incidents, we can now go into the host. I have not left this workbook. And now we can now run, look at the account logins, the baselines, whatever. I don't have much stuff, but I'm sure you can kind of see what you can do and the potential. And now you can take this and repurpose it, right? Take pieces, filter it. But this flow is definitely a good way to kind of understand how they built something and how they rendered those elements. Now, let's take it a step further. Let's add some clicky, okay? So what I mean by clicky is you want to, everybody's gonna want this, but It'll come eventually, guys. It'll come eventually, but it's not ready yet. But everybody should build their own cheat sheet, okay? And the reason I say that is, which one's my latest one? You see how I version so well. So imagine that you want to render certain elements. So I have my little cheat sheet, just my little snippets, and I generated this cheat sheet with PowerShell. And if you click on these buttons here, you can see that this is anomaly detection, very basic. But if you click on View Code, I can render content in the side pane. So imagine that if you have your own JSON data and you want to pop it over to side pane whenever and maybe just dive into some data or copy and paste, you can do that with a context pane and then render these elements on the context pane. So I can then, if I like this anomaly detection, how would you steal it? You would go to edit, you would go and this is not a good one because I do a lot of stuff. But if you ever want to kind of steal an element from another workbook, find a workbook that you like, that that has a pretty good rendering of whatever it is, and as long as you present the data the same way, then you can render as well. So you click on Edit here. We're going to go Advanced Editor. It's JSON, guys. So if you know JSON, you can take this snippet. This snippet composes of everything to render that element. So you can actually take this, save it, or change little things inside it. But then you can go into another workbook. Okay. And I'm just gonna make a brand new workbook, and we'll just call this my little demo area. I'm gonna add the query. Make sure to add the type. Like if it's a query or if it's a parameter, make sure to add the right type. Replace it with your copied stuff. Click Done. And then it couldn't be rendered because some parameters are not
you don't
set.
have the same data tables.
Yeah.
Reverse engineering scripts is exactly how I learned PowerShell the first time in my career. Just find stuff that's out there that you like, and then open it up, pick it apart, and steal, right?
Yeah.
Or borrow.
So with my cheat sheet,
repurpose. Yes.
Yeah.
I would take this this code block the same way, and if I paste it, it'll work because I'm using static data. I'm not using data that's reliant on that. So I could take this, I'll paste it here. I think that should work. Item type 12. What is it? Maybe it's a query? Hold on. Oh. Nope, it's a 33. I don't even know my own code.
Different type of, yeah.
So there we go, right? So I just have this element that's rendering this sort of anomaly detection, and then you just have to kind of make it. And remember, guys, it's like a row-based model, so it's like it'll go like a Word, like Microsoft Word, like every line, enter. So if you want to render the element, it's too big, then you just kind of do a custom width and just say 50%, right? And then you would clone it, and then do another element like this, right? So you can make your own elements, copy it from other ones. Well, what you also can do is say you don't want to do it that way. You can actually have like Inception workbooks call other workbooks that call other workbooks, and have workbooks be like a template for other workbooks. And if you pass in values, it renders those workbooks. And so if I type in workbooks or Azure workbooks, and I grab a workbook here, and I grab the resource ID, okay? And as long you have to have access though, okay? And then you go here, you go to add group, and then you go from template, you paste that ID, that resource ID, you click load, and then now you've got a workbook rendering within another workbook. And this is my MITRE workbook that I kind of did in the past, but you got another workbook with another workbook, right? In that workbook, you have another workbook, another workbook, and you just keep going from there, like whatever you want, right?
Amazing.
Now on top of that, you can actually render it a different way, a more helpful way, I suggest is something like this, where maybe you want to, let's see. Maybe you want to render in a context pane, okay? So let me show you why that's going to be cool. Is let's see, toolbar. Let me flip it on my other tenant. I think it's on my other tenant. But you can actually render your own toolbar and then have your own sort of GUI all within one workbook. So if you're looking for that single pane of glass and your own toolbar, dang it.
No, not that one.
No, I have to view it too. Okay. Hold on, guys. But you can actually render workbooks within workbooks and in a context pane. And I'll show you how cool that is. So that will be something like this. Maybe it's this one. Okay. So here's, ooh, that's big. Okay, ignore that. But if you click on you see how I had this toolbar here? Imagine putting a toolbar and then boom, my user profile. You can pop the context pane and anything inside the portal.azure.com can be your little sidebar pane that you can then, oh, let me go revoke a session or reset his password. Or let me go to his roles. Let's see what roles he has. Let me go to his groups. And this, right? Let me go to devices. You're basically making your own GUI within leveraging the workbook. Let me go to your application, right? Sign-in logs, like whatever you want, you can render. And you're wondering, hey, Jing, how did you do that? Because I want to know how to do that. Well, you simply have to go anywhere in Azure. Like, let's take the user profile. You want to do that one? I'll show you how to do it. It's really easy. And you go and type in user profile. Nah, never mind.
Azure AD.
Azure AD.
I thought you had created your own.
Oh man, see, I've been out for so long.
Yeah.
Where's Azure AD? Oh, Azure. Azure.
Active Directory.
Azure Active Directory. There it is. There it is. Okay, we'll get there. So you see, like, I want this pane. Like, I want the zoomed in pane, right? You see this deep link? That's what you need. Okay, you copy that. You go into your workbook, and we're gonna make a new one. We're gonna make one down here. We're gonna make one down here. So I got one down here. I'm gonna have my little toolbar. Blah blah blah. And I want this one, user profile. And then here, I'm going to put blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to want to render, ooh, you could render a workbook in the sidebar pane. But we're not going to do that. We're going to do a custom view. And now we can configure, we go to URL, we paste that little snippet, and the workbook team has been kind enough to just read and parse that for us automatically. And we have the extension name here, the view name, the profile, but it's not perfect because it's not their fault, because whenever every product group builds their deep links differently, and the profile, if you look at this sort of the path, it's profile, but then it's user ID, and then the values after it. So there's really no value after profile and user ID. So we have to go blank, right? But it kind of thought it was a value of profile. So then you kind of have to know, once you know, you know. But you delete this value from user ID, and because it's its own key, and the user ID is going to be, you know, at woodgrove.ms. And you can actually pass that as a dynamic value, but we'll save that. We'll click on context pane. If you don't want it to render in the context pane, you want to go new tab, just uncheck that. Done editing. We made a toolbar, and there you go.
Neat.
And any element. Not only this, but if you have your own workbook, you can render your own user profile thing. Matter of fact, let me show you that. And then, let's see. So right here, imagine you're like investigating a user. There's abnormal activity. You click on a user, right? This maybe Jeffrey Ryan, and I want to check him out, but I don't want to. You can build your own little custom side pane with your own little graphs, your own little buttons, your own little information snippet with the little buttons to take you to ServiceNow, to take you to, other portals.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to access those portals unless you really need to do deep investigation. But this is your like little helper for your team to just route them to that. And if you do it right, you want to look at this link and deep link them directly to the incident, not just to the portal. You want to take them right to that incident by feeding the actual deep URL of that incident, right?
Yeah. So this is awesome stuff. We got about 10
Beyond
minutes
awesome.
left. I think one of the things I think I'd absolutely love to end on, though, is you've done a lot of this customization, particularly with the workbooks. We had discussed maybe some other things we could talk about, but I think really the community aspect, right? Once I create something awesome, like some of this stuff, right? These workbooks, how do I share that stuff with the rest of the community?
Oh.
Yeah, come on. How do I create a pull request? How do I?
Come on, Jing. You're on the spot here, bud.
All right. So you want to share this with the community? There is a GitHub repository. You're talking about the GitHub?
I am.
I don't know if you're
talking about the GitHub repository.
Okay. All right.
I don't know what I have to do to lead you into that.
Yeah. Well, I was like, where are you trying to lead me to? Because I'm like, yeah. So
we need to practice this better next time.
Yeah. By the way, everybody, this is not scripted. So yeah, Rod just throws me curveballs. He'll also throw me curveballs with customers, and it's very challenging sometimes to just come up with a spot because he's like, oh, Jing will know it. Okay, so
that's why they pay you, bud.
I've done that. I've done that before.
So here is Azure Sentinel, GitHub.Azure Sentinel. Here's a cool thing, guys. Another cool thing. If you go to anywhere in GitHub, do this. Change the comp to a dev, and now you got your own VS Code dev mode. Yeah, already logged in, VS Code rendered, and linked to your profile. This is what I do a lot of times. I don't even have VS Code on my computer. I'll do VS Code in here, and then set up my stuff here. And look, it's my VS Code environment. I can click on workbooks. It renders it. And if you want to do a push and pull request, you can actually do pull requests using the source control here too. So big, awesome thing is, if you guys don't know, github.com, flip that com to a dev, and now you got dev mode. And then this is what I pop up in the browser, and it's awesome. It's an awesome experience. If you also want to check, go to teachthing.com, and I have my songs here, as well as all these other icons, as well as my Power BI report sample, because I know everybody, like, this is something I wanted, but you could just look at all the reports that are rendered through Power BI and then repurpose those for your managers, because they like to look at the key metrics and things like that.
Managers love the pretty things. Yeah.
And props for the classic Winamp skin.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. Oh, that's too good, Jing. This has been amazing.
That's awesome. Well, Jing, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on. Obviously, people will request that you come on again, because I don't think we really got through our entire list of things.
Oh yeah.
Discuss. I know you're getting excited and wound up, and I didn't want to shut you down, but.
Well, no. I think there's Sentinel can do so much. It's like Minecraft. It can go as deep as you want to go,
Yeah.
And
and particularly Bicep, because there's a lot of things from the DevOps pipeline that folks are looking to do, and unfortunately, ARM templates can't do everything. And In particular, Sentinel, we don't have a lot of that capability out there for customers to take advantage of. And if we start getting deeper into Bicep, I believe customers are going to create some really cool things that they could share with everybody else to help deploy Sentinel. Just looking at when you went into the workbooks blade and seeing the number of workbooks that need updates, I jumped into my console yesterday and I had 42 workbooks that they literally added a 0 to the end of every version. And that was it.
Oh, really?
So every workbook needs to be updated. I was like, oh, this is nice. And there's no update all, right? But I'm pretty sure we could come up with some mechanism to update all of them at once.
Okay.
Yeah. Between
you two, you could solve world hunger. Are you kidding me? All with Sentinel.
We would just give you all of our food. I don't need it. That's how you solve. Yeah.
That could get dangerous.
Yeah. Any parting words, Jing, that you'd like to give to everyone listening and watching?
No, but if you on a side note, if you plug in if you find any kind of like adapters or power outlets and it has ability to report syslog, you can also like repurpose it to report syslog. Then you can feed it to Sentinel and then get your little smart power usage. And I was wondering how much my card juiced. You see this period I was in Hawaii, there's nothing, right? But then right here is, but you can
we can't see your screen again.
We're not sharing again.
Oh,
because we're not on Teams. It throws them
off.
off.
What we ended with was sharing and community, and you took away your screen.
Oh well, but
I actually use Sentinel for our content control in the house for parenting, right?
Really?
I do, yeah.
Oh my God, you guys are nerds. I love it.
I'll have to write that up someday.
Please do.
And this cost me about $5, maybe $5 for the logs, all the logs.
We're running up against time here, so
yep.
I'll let Brodie or Rod take us out.
Sounds good. Appreciate everybody joining this week. Unfortunately, didn't have Edward with us our drummer to kind of keep the beat and keep us going, but I hope he's taken some necessary time off to enjoy himself. Thank you to Microsoft Reactor. Thank you to Maria for joining and talking about the game, gamifying security. That's super awesome. Hope everybody is able to check that out. This podcast, this show, delivers every Wednesday night at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. With the audio version available everywhere podcasts are available the following week. We hope you all join. We'll be back next month, Reactor, with another excellent guest. And if we can't find another good guest, we'll just bring Gene back. So that'd be great.
Absolutely. Welcome back anytime, Jing. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So thank you all.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, y'all. This was great.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye.
Have a great day.